Hello, listeners. For today's installment of Ensnaring the Muse, we have Eleanor Langthorne and Jagger from the band Vices Inc. So let's go. Okay, we have Eleanor Langthorne and Jagger with us from Vices Inc. And so we're here to talk about your newest album, Rolling 82, which I've been listening to quite a bit. It's available on Spotify. Is it available anywhere other than Spotify?
You want to tell a funny story about that?
so technically it's not supposed to be available until next week.
Oh no.
Yes, but Spotify jumped the gun.
Okay.
But it's okay because we get to share everything a little ahead of schedule. But I think that it's also available on iTunes.
Okay.
In Amazon, probably.
Amazon, yeah.
So just about anywhere you can pick up a digital copy, it's going to be there.
Great. Well, if it's okay with you, because you're kind of new to me. Vices Inc. is new to me, although I very much have enjoyed what's been kind of streaming through my computer over the past week. Can you give us a brief rundown of the project, of the band, of the division of labor, all of that stuff?
Sure. The band itself started in 2019. It was initially going to be a solo project for me, and then it evolved into a band itself. And basically the whole premise of the band was us to be able to play different styles of music, not one style of music. And yeah, because every band I was ever in, it's like you stick to one style, and I got bored. So I wanted to have a group of people that would be open-minded towards that. And I found that with two people, because other people didn't work out so well. And basically that's the premise of the band, is just to play different styles of music and be happy with that.
Great.
I guess that's it.
Yeah. So as far as like division of labor goes, we kind of have a unique way of going about like creating tracks. Usually it starts with Jag coming up with like a bass idea, which usually either comes from like a guitar part or keys. And then he'll send that off to Christy, our drummer, and myself. And then Christy will kind of play with it, and she'll like lay down some drums and send it back over. And then I'll like come up with a melody, and sometimes like Jag and I will bounce ideas off each other for lyrics or like melody ideas. But it ends up being in the end like a very collaborative process. But I think it's pretty like unique because we see each other every week, but we usually end up working on new music kind of on our own and like sending it back and forth and stuff. And then when we see each other in person, we're like talking about other stuff, like songs we've already sort of established, and like, I don't know, it's fun.
It's funny because whatever given project we're working on at the time, we're actually working on like 6 different projects at that moment for other projects in the future. So there's always a revolving thing going on. So if Eleanor's working on one thing, I'm gonna be working on 4 albums from now or whatever else, and Chris might be working the next album over, and that's how it works. We're always constantly working on some different aspect of the music. But yeah, one of the funniest things she didn't mention, it's okay, I'll mention it, is most of the titles come from me, and she built her lyrics or her ideas for the song off of the titles, which is amazing to me, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So from what it sounds like, it sounds like it's a genuinely collaborative process that, I mean, I don't know, is there somebody like, does Jagger ever have like a iron fist kind of,
No. So usually like if he has a really strong idea about some like one song, and I'm like, I don't know if that's how I saw it going, we just record everything. So he'll be like, oh yeah, I really think you should add like a vocal line here, something like this. And then he'll like demonstrate it, and I'll go in the booth and record it. And then we'll listen back and like sort of decide if we want to keep it or get rid of it. But we at least like hear it. We know how it sounds. And like sometimes I'll record it and he'll go, no, you're right. Like I don't like that. Or I'll record it and I'll be like, wow, that's like really cool. I didn't think it was gonna sound that good. Like we have to keep that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like truly like through to the end. Like we're all thinking of ideas and just like throwing whatever in and taking things out and
That's
no
awesome.
hard feelings.
Yeah, when it works out like that, it's such a rare and beautiful thing, you know, when you can have a kind of collaborative work ethic like that. Well, you know what? To me, that attitude really comes through on track number 3, which is the title track of your album, Rolling 82.
We should
And
talk about it.
yeah,
That's a good one.
I thought that we could just listen to a little bit of that, and then maybe you two could talk about it.
Sure.
I have some questions about it, which I hope you're okay talking about genres or influences, because
Sure.
there's some stuff that I hear in there that I'd be very curious to get your thoughts
Sure.
on. So let me share screen real quick, and I'll get this thing going. All right. So here we go. Rolling 82. We'll maybe listen through the first chorus.
Sure. That cover, huh? It's nice.
Looks great.
Maybe. Oh dear, it doesn't seem to want to play.
No. We'll just do it live right now.
There you go. Maybe you should. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you're not hearing anything.
No.
Okay. All right. I don't know why that is. Let me try refreshing the page. Well, okay. So while I try and figure that out, to me, what the song reminds me of, more than anything, was like kind of like 80s punk rock. You know, like the stuff that you would have heard on The Decline of Western Civilization, you know, kind of soundtrack like X or any of those bands.
I would say, well, I mean, the whole album itself is, you know, even the original is supposed to give you a feeling that it's based in the 80s in some way. Is that us?
Yeah, that was you. Yeah, but please continue your thought, and then
I'll give you a little inside hint here, though. The keyboard line is influenced by the Cars.
Okay.
That's the band that influenced the keyboard line for that. So if you listen to the first album, you can feel that same kind of rhythm inside one of their songs for sure. It's not like it's the same thing, it's just the feeling of it itself. But all the elements of it, it's, I guess, you know, we're taking a couple of genres and put it together in that one song to make it work for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I wasn't so far off.
No, you're not. Because it's not like it's not like, oh, I'm just doing new wave, I'm just doing rock. It's like a mixture of three different things to make it work.
Right. Fair enough. Well, it seems like it's going to work now, so let's give it some time.
Sure. Sound too happy.
I hate stopping it. That is so much fun. That's such a like, it's got such a great energy to it.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you get up and want to do something, like, you know, like, yeah, hey, I'm gonna go do some jumping jacks or something. I don't know, you know, roller skate. Yeah, but it's like it's supposed to be like a summertime fun song.
Yeah,
you know, give you put you in a good vibes for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely like I'm driving to the beach and I'm putting together my mixtape.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and that would definitely go in the lineup. Yeah, so and that's cool because again, to talk about that collaborative aspect, you can hear it in the vocals, you can hear it, I mean, Eleanor, of course, has this beautiful,
Yeah.
rock
Her voice,
pop.
her voice shoots through everybody's houses,
Yeah.
I mean, we do duet there, but it's always she's always on top. It's always, and that's fine.
I always say, I'm like, I'm just yelling.
Well, yeah, but it works so well. It's just this kind of like velvety, fluid sound that you have to your voice. And Jagger, are you doing the other vocals on that?
I am.
Okay, yeah, and that's, I don't know if you guys have listened to much X or anything, but that combination of that male female vocals with that upbeat, up tempo kind of thing, just like it works so well. So the other thing that I was curious about was the covers. You've got a couple of covers, and I have to say, Xanadu is not a song that I would have associated with a current rock band. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great, I love it, but it's an interesting choice.
Well, my mom is a big Olivia Newton-John fan.
Okay.
She was a teenager when Grease came out and stuff like that, so she was a huge fan of that. And I have memories of her playing, Xanadu and Grease and something else she was in, like a lot. And she was obsessed with that music, and for her solo albums too, like, well, not solo albums because she was a solo artist anyways, but like Let's Get Physical and stuff like that. She would listen to that stuff. And like, this is like in the 90s now. I'm like, man, like that stuff go. But I appreciate it now. And that was more of like a tribute to my mom because she loved it so much. So I initially gave it to Eleanor and she's like, what? But then she understood why I wanted it, and she rose to the occasion to do it. She did a really good job on that, actually. So good. So what happened?
Oh, so I guess the software that identifies music like Shazam, but sort of across the board, that we had who did it go to?
It was a distributor.
So the distributor was like, oh, we're getting like flags. Basically, like it was picking up our version of Xanadu as the original. So
okay,
yeah,
like the program thought that we were like trying to pass off like the actual track, like with Olivia Newton-John Yellow as like ours, and like get streams off of it and stuff.
So we did it because what happened was when I recorded the backtrack of it, I recorded exactly how they recorded theirs, the same tempo, everything. I followed and played it. So it's the same BPM all the way through. And then when she did the vocals, the computer recognized the vocals so closely that it recognized that it was Olivia Newton-John's vocals. So I had to send the bare bones stuff in to show them, like, here's the process of, here's all the stems,
Wow.
Prove that it wasn't us. But it happens sometimes. So the computer is a computer; they can't recognize this, sometimes, and it just happened that way. But I mean, she said you should be flattered.
I was like so incredibly flattered. Like, no, there's no way even a computer would mistake me for Olivia Newton-John. Like that's crazy.
ELO, I mean, come on, that's like pretty big. But that's what happened too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a story to tell.
Right now you just need to go and audition for Sandy, in your local
exactly.
Yeah. But it's catchy though. It's such, I think it fits really well with the temperament, of the rest of the album. Although
I'm sorry. I'm going to say that song is based on a movie about roller skate anyway, so it kind of works out, doesn't it?
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Well, let's go with another original, if that's all right. And Baby Your Love. Can you give us a quick intro for that one?
Oh, so that was, I think, the first song.
It's the first song I wrote for this project.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And I was, we were in the middle of, we knew we were going to have a
Sorry.
It's all right.
Please go ahead.
We knew what project we were going to have in the fall. We already knew that we were going to work on this more serious project. So we just figure out what we're going to do for the next 6 months until that time. And I didn't want to have anything that was too serious. So this is a song that first started it. It's like, it doesn't sound serious at all. It's upbeat and happy. And that was the whole concept of it, having a good vibe album. And this is the first song from that.
Yeah.
Great. Let's give it a listen. You know, I have to say, who's primarily responsible for the vocal melodies?
That would be Eleanor.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the guitar part is super catchy, but your vocal melodies really have staying power.
Yeah,
Thank
sure,
you.
definitely.
Yeah. You know, I imagine I'm going to be singing those things for the rest of the night.
It definitely had his own place in the song. So like if it was the lead guitar or a lead keyboard part, her vocals do that. It drives the song for sure.
Yeah, so you feel like you're very melody centered. That's fair to say. Yeah. Well, no, I mean
range. So you can do anything with her voice. She gets such range. So it's like, okay, she makes it easy to do all these things.
You know, that's a good point though. I've been a vocal coach for about 20 years now. And some of those melodic lines, you know, for me anyway, would not be easy to sing. You know.
Yeah, she's robotic. I don't think she's human. No.
I worry about doing like a live show just because I think I like to just like go for like intricate melodies that might not be the easiest to do, but then I think about like having to sing these songs in succession, like I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh, like this sounds like really good, like a high belt here or something, and then I'm like, oh, but if I had to sing like there's a song Worse Than After from our first album where I like really am like skrelting, and I'm like, if I have to sing that and then like Baby Your Love, and then like I'm really just doing myself in. But
well, and yeah, there is that kind of practical consideration, I guess. You know, when you're putting together a set, is you can't have the musicians fried, you know, by the end. Yeah, and it sounds kind of funny, you know, to say this, but there's a real like organic just grittiness. Like you listen to the guitar part, you know, and you know, I've been dealing with electronic music for a good part of my adult life, and there's just no way that you can get that kind of expression, you know, that kind of, you know, it's got a very improvisatory quality to it, you know, but you can tell it's a live instrument played by a human being, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's novel these days, you know, is kind of remarkable in and of itself. Sorry,
Having it been done by computers or
yeah.
MIDI or something, or you know, in synthetic in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, we do mix in electronic elements into our music too, but it all comes. Most of it comes down from the guitar playing. That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm also, well, I can't say I'm always been a guitar player because I've always been a piano player.
Okay.
But it's just like when I write a song, a guitar is easy to get to. A piano is not, you know. And it's so, but I, you know, it's unlike, you know, for this project itself is a little bit weird for me because there's songs in there I don't play guitar in, and it's a first for me. And it felt like, am I doing the right thing doing this? But you know what? I'm happy to do something different and be out of my element because then I challenge myself. So for that aspect, I'm happy that I put the guitar down and moved away from it. I cried for a little bit, but I got over it.
Right. There you go. That's how you know it's real.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you know, Eleanor, you were talking about some of the considerations in a live set. How what is your situation right now? You know, for us, I live in Oregon. We're going into a second lockdown. How are you guys faring?
We're going to that too.
Yeah. So we haven't played any shows since February 2020.
Okay.
And then we sort of talked about doing like a live stream kind of show last like fall. And then we got really busy with like recording and like trying to figure out, we were like setting up a home studio. And so that kind of like didn't end up happening. And then things started opening up again. So we're like, oh, now would be a good time to like maybe get out there. And now like, obviously like things are getting worse now. So yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to play any live shows like through the end of 2021 and like hopefully things look up, but maybe we can get something together to like put out online.
Yeah, we probably do at least a short live stream, and we're deciding how we're gonna approach it. It may be a full band, or it may be just like a acoustic then. So we're going to play with it. We might just do both of them too and see what we like better and then put it out there. But we are kind of busy for a while, but in November, we kind of have some free time. It's going to be in November and we'll probably release it before, because we'll just tell you that we're having another album coming out in December.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's going to be crazy too. So we're thinking we might release it and coincide with that before that comes out. So we'll have, because acoustic parts of it will match that album in the first place. So
yeah, the next album's like very, very different.
Is your output always that consistent? I mean,
so Jag has like 6 terabytes worth of like song ideas, like just things that he's recorded, like varying levels of completion. Some things are like ready to go. We could add drums and vocals. Some things are like just a phone recording of an idea he had and like just recorded. And on top of that, he'll be like, I wrote 4 songs today. So it's like Christy and I are always like, okay, we gotta like keep going.
Like she heard a new song today called Gene Chaser.
Yeah.
Never heard it before. And I just wrote it the other day.
Yeah. I mean, like every weekend he'll be like, I wrote this, or like I found this and I'm really excited about it. And he'll show like Christy and me and we're like, oh my gosh, like we have to work on that right now. And then we're like, no, we can't, because we have stuff we're already working on right now. But it's pretty like constant, which is fun. And like, because everything's like totally different, like genres and everything. But it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's like, I mean, it's what we love. So
that's awesome. Well, hopefully, please keep me posted on that. You do have a YouTube channel, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure because you never know these days. So I'll be sure to link that as well. I guess in our last couple of minutes, another thing that I'm very, very curious about is, inspiration? You know, Jag, you're this like machine, you know, like churning out all of these songs. What makes you want to write? Like what gets you going?
I think it's my outlet for whatever's going on in my life, good or bad. So if I'm feeling good, I want to write a song. If I'm feeling bad, I want to write a song. So like, I feel like, you know, my free time, people like, you know, want to do, you know, watch movies or pet their dog, which is not a bad choice. Right? But me, I think, you know, nothing makes me more happy or excited in a way is to see a song come to fruition, from me recording it on my phone to me recording to the computer to giving to my band and then making a song out of it. That's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling to be with people who want to make your songs real. It's crazy, actually.
That is true. Yeah, it's sorcery, right? It's like,
yes.
it's magic. Yeah.
I got more songs to you, and you're gonna do them all. Yeah.
What about artists that you both might really look up to, from, let's say, just from any era ever, you know?
Sure.
Well, I mean, I could be cliche, say the Beatles, but it's true. The Beatles, to like the Smiths, to like Brand New and Radiohead, and you know, Blink-182, Green Day. You know, my taste varies so much, but then I like pop stuff too, and I like stuff like Prince, and it's just like I never really can stick one style of music. I have to, you know, expand, because I'm like, oh, I find goodness on all stuff. I like rap, you know, NWA, you know, Rum DMC, you know. So it's like, I just want to able to explore everything that you know, turns me on in a way, without saying a better term for it, you know. Gets me excited about music itself. Right. But that's my thing. I like, Eleanor has different tastes in music, and she'll tell you in a second, but everything she showed me, I loved. So I was like, well, I can dig this. She knows what I like. I can dig that too. But then I don't want to listen too much, because then that's like, well, I get influenced too much. I might want to, you know, I want to keep my own path going. But if I feel like I'm being still too similar or getting influenced by something, I just put it away in the corner until I'm ready to go back to it. But she can play closer too.
Yeah, I mean, like, even from just like a vocal standpoint, like, I like love Demi Lovato and like Julian Baker, Pink. There's a band called Paris that's actually like pretty local. Like they're from like around where I live, and I don't know, just I have so many artists I love across like so many genres. I'm like I'm a theater geek. Like, I majored in theater, so like I love like musical theater, like people, you know, from like Broadway. Like,
what's a go-to musical for you?
Oh my
God, you had to say it.
Well, okay, I don't want to be like so cliche, but I've been like obsessing over Hamilton with everyone else.
No, that's me too. I love that show. Yeah.
But I love like pop rock musicals. Like, you know, you have like Spring Awakening, you have Bear, you have like, you know, like so many options. Like, yeah, I don't know. And I tend to go for things that I'm like, oh, like I would love to play that role. So then I'm like listening to the music, and I'm like, oh. But
so Grease production wasn't too, you know, like left field then.
Exactly.
No. I'm a huge theater nerd too, so
there's some musical aspects into our music itself. And in fact, you know, one of our future projects is going to be, I mean, it's
there might be a musical type of project in the future.
You know, well, this album did have to me anyway, kind of like a concept album feel, with the way that it opens, and you know, it's kind of like the musical journey that you go, which is something I really appreciate, because in our age of artists just releasing like one song at a time, we don't really get that feeling of like the album experience. But you guys definitely had the album experience with this one. So
you know what's funny about this? There's gonna be 3 different versions of this album. You got a digital version, a CD version, and a cassette version. And each version will be different. So each version has more extra songs to it or a different order. So when you talk about concept wise, we made sure we worked on that so each version has its own flow to it. So yeah, so it makes it, people, if they're interested in us, to go explore those different versions of it, because there's a reason why we did it. And hopefully it comes out well.
Hopefully everybody will stay tuned to Vices Inc. and keep us updated on all of your successes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And thank you so much for the time, guys. That was
Awesome.
a lot of fun for me.
Thank you.
So have a great night.
Yes, you too.
Bye.